This is one of the handles. I always err on the side of being a little longer than normal, but it's okay because I think being a little longer is alright. Especially in this case, a woman's going to take this, put it over her shoulder. I think it's better to be a little long than a little short. Short, it doesn't fit every woman. Long, it'll fit more women. That's my take on it anyway. I don't know. I'll have my wife take a look at it when I get it together. Anyway, the stitching on here, it's all top stitched. This nice off-white colored top stitching on it. I still have to burnish it. But that top stitching, that stitching, to stitch this together, took me 45 minutes per line. So that's, for the two straps, the two handle straps, is 3 hours of sewing. Now you may think that's a lot, but keep in mind, it's a nice bag. So if we figure on average 30, call it 30 inches of stitching, 45 minutes, and you start figuring, you know, how long is this? It's probably a little more than 30 inches, or thereabouts 30 inches. And you start adding it all together, it adds up pretty fast, and just in the time of sewing. Not to mention, you know, the skiving that goes into this rolled edge. I did not roll the edges of the pockets. I could have. I did not. But, you know, they're nice. They're burnished. You know, burnishing takes time as well. So all those little things, you know, making this pocket that's going to go inside, it'll be held in with the rivets. All that takes time. When I prototype a product, it takes time. This is a prototype. I know now what needs to be adjusted. A lot of these tote bags seem to be really narrow in the bottom. I made mine a little wider because I think a wider bag is more useful. And it'll sit better. So, I don't know. That's my take on it. And this is purely my take because it's my business. Anyhow, but that's what it is. It's 3 hours of stitching on these two handle straps. I still have to bevel them, burnish them, and then attach them and finish that little bit of stitching on the ends. A little 2.5 inches or so there. So it's a little bit more work to do on it, but I think it's worth it. I could have used just, you know, I could have used single ply. It's 4-ounce leather. It's plenty strong enough. I could have just easily taken this and, you know, done something, I don't know. The back of this leather is really nice, so I could have probably just left it alone. I could have used the veg tan. I could use a different leather for the handle. You know, I could have run it through my machine. My Singer will handle this leather. It'll do this. But at the same time, I really like hand stitching. I like the way this looks. So I just do what I do. That's all there is to it. My Singer would probably leave marks on this leather, and that won't come out just because of the way the presser feet are. So there you go. That's just a little tidbit. So it's about 45 minutes for the 30 inches of stitching. That's what it takes me. I'm not as fast as some. Some people are much faster than I am. And it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. It's not a race. Well, I got the first handle on, and I think with those copper rivets, it's pretty spot on. My wife was on the money with the copper. I don't think the brass would have looked nearly as good. I do have to put the other one on. Not a big deal. My wife decided she wants to carry this bag. I was just doing it as a prototype anyway. So if she wants to tote it around, I'm going to let her. I went with a 36-inch handle. I know it's kind of long. But I was trying to make it into more of a budget area kind of bag. The leather is something that I got at a good price. Caught it on sale. So that's what I was going to do with it. And I don't know. I kind of made a few changes along the way. And that's what prototyping is all about. You can make those changes. That's when I went with the double side seam there. And I went with an overlap instead of a... I went with a visible overlap on the sides instead of folding it in, and it was still a turned bag, but gosh, I think it turned out nice. The pull up on this leather looks pretty, so I'm pretty happy with it so far. I'm gonna get the other handle in. I did not put the inside pocket in yet. That'll go on the other side here. I haven't decided if I want my tag on the outside, but if I'm gonna let my wife carry it, I'm putting it on the outside. I don't care what she thinks. She liked the size of the pockets. I think they're a little big on the outside, but she'll have a little better opinion of it after she carries it a little while. I'm going to have my boss's wife take a look at it too, just to get a second opinion, and we'll go from there. For some reason this hole came off a little off on the stitch line there. I don't know why. But it is what it is. That's what it happens. I'll show you how I did this to get the I didn't put the rivets in first, so I put those in last. On the other side I'll put them in last again over there, because I just want the rivets holding that inside pocket in. It doesn't need to be stitched in. So anyway, I'll bring you back when I go to stitch it on. I did go around and burnish the edges of these, of the handles. It needed it, in my opinion. I beveled it, burnished it, and then I went around, sanded it, and burnished it again. I sanded it with 320 and then gave it another burnish. Just used gum trag to burnish it. Came out pretty decent. You have to make up for your, you have to decide for yourself what level of a burnish you want on there. It's a decent burnish. It's not a glossy edge. It's a veg tan, oil tan leather. It's a veg tan, but it's got an oily quality to it. So it's one of those that's not going to burnish real well to begin with, but it comes out okay. It's not a perfect burnish like my holsters. You know, if I'm working with a pure veg tan, I'll get a burnish that looks like one piece of leather out of, you know, a stack of 4 pieces there. Doesn't matter. But that's what it is. That's all you can do. So it looks good. The next time I make one, I have made a note on my pattern that the handle does not need to be 36 inches. My wife held it up and she went like this. She said, oh, a couple inches shorter. Well, this might be 2 inches. But you got to remember, it's 2 inches on each side. So that's 4 inches shorter. I will make the next one 32 inches and see how that goes. I had a brainstorm the other night. I got another one in the works, and we'll see what happens with that one. And that one is going to be a different kind of a gusset on it. I don't have any pressing orders right now. I've got one belt I've got to get done. Other than that, I've got Barnaul's bag to get done. When I put the handle on the other side, I figured the way out that worked, and worked pretty well. So since it ain't broken, I ain't gonna try to change it. Don't fix what's not broken. I just took my big brass rivets. These are a number 9. The sizes are backwards. A number 9 is the bigger one. And I just slid it through my holes. And I used that to hold the strap in place. The first holes I punched, I've got 2 going across the top, so I just punch those. I'm not necessarily even punching them through, I'm just kind of marking them. And then I will punch a hole at the top here where thread stops. I will punch that one. I'm not going to punch it with a chisel though. Not through the handle anyway. But I will just hit that hard enough to mark it. So I'm starting the hole right below the stitching. Now that those are in, take those rivets out. Now I can just punch those holes all the way through. And the one hole that I want to come back up, I can do that right now. And I'm just going to use 3 holes instead of going last. I'll use 3 and I'll just punch a couple extra holes here. And that's enough holes to get me started stitching it. So I will take it and I will start stitching. And I'll start in the middle here on the inside, and I'll stitch up and around, and I'll go around. When I get to here, I'll stop and then I'll punch the rest of the holes. So I'll kind of punch those as I go. Does that make sense? It does to me. Worked out really well on the other handle, so I'm not afraid to do it that way on this one. But I'm not going to make you watch me stitch all that. It's pretty mundane. Just a little stitching. So I'll be back when I get this all done. I will made my tag, and I will incorporate that right here. So I have to stitch that in right off the bat, and it'll go just like that there. Maybe I'll put it on the other side. Maybe I'll put it on the other side, I think. Yeah, I'll put it on the other side. Doesn't much matter. Put it in somewhere. I'll put it on the other side because I feel like it. Alrighty, I hope you can hear me okay. I got the air conditioner on. It's about 90 degrees out today, which is pretty toasty for me. Since I have the other side riveted in, move that up a little maybe. I have my rivets in over here. I need to put something down on my bench, which I'm just going to use the poundo board under here. And I'll have to lay the bag down, and I'm going to have to put my granite inside so that I have a good solid surface under there. But I need to lay something under my granite so that it doesn't wreck the inside. That should do the trick. A bit of leather from the rifle case. I'm just gonna get that in far enough so I've got something to have under when I put my rivets on. I also need to put this piece in, so it's going to make things a little bit more difficult, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. We'll go through this. Put it through. Go through the top one. And we got that. Go ahead and set my burr. I'm going to be getting a different tool for burr setting. I got this from Weaver Leather Supply, and this is probably the only tool that I've ever gotten from them that I was really disappointed in. All the edges around the the head here were really sharp. Every edge around here was a really sharp edge. So I had to actually take it to the sander and round off those edges because they were really damaging the material. And that's not some, but this sets, it sets both size rivets, but I just had to round that off a bit. It's not a big deal. But Buckle Guy's tool looks a little bit better. It's separate tools for every size. That's okay. Probably not the tool to be doing this with, but it's what I got handy. I got my burrs set. Now I want to see, there's a flat end on my small granite here. I'm just going to slide all of this back on the bench a little bit. I want the back of that pocket just hanging because I got that straight edge back there. I want that hanging off a little. Under this end to hold the granite so it doesn't flop around while I'm hammering. Alright. Now I could use this hammer, but I'm never going to hit, I don't ever hit a steel tool with it because I don't want to screw up the face. Could grab a different hammer. That would require me going to a different room to get it. And this works fine. That's what I used on the other side. There we go. Now to cut these, I don't have a nipper handy. I don't know what I ever did with it. I had one, don't know what happened to it. This is just alignments pliers. And it pretty much cuts these off just where I like them. That one did not cut off quite right. And then I just go ahead and there's two different sizes on the end there. You got for the 9s is the bigger one, and the 12s are the smaller one. I just go around and then I make sure it's not, I can't feel a rough edge on it. Here we go. Everything feels good, no rough edges. Go ahead and slide this out. And there we go. Got my tag stitched in. Oops. Got my tag stitched in. My rivets are set. I called it the standard tote in the beginning. I don't think it's so standard anymore. I think with, you know, I added a little bit bigger pocket, which doesn't necessarily make it not standard. It's still pretty standard. I could easily make it a zippered pocket, just by, you know, adding a zipper to it, stitch all the way around and put a zipper in it. Easily add a zipper to it. With the exposed double seam here, or double stitch line, I think really added to it a lot. I think it made it really cool. And all the stitching on the handles, I really think makes a big difference in this bag. So I like it a lot. I think it came out really, really nice. So with that being said, you know, I've got that pocket inside too. So the copper rivets really make it look nice. And yeah, I think that's about all there is to it. We're done with it. And so if you got a better name for it, drop a comment. Drop a comment anyway. I always like to read the comments. Always respond to them. I like criticism, constructive or otherwise. And let's see. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. I appreciate it. I always appreciate everybody watching. That being said, y'all stay safe. God bless. Catch you in the next video.